How the fuck am I supposed to begin this video? So in this episode, we continue down the watered-down speedrun of Higurashi, but we finally get to see some differences. And oh boy, there were some differences. So anyways, when they finally do one of the biggest appeals to the Child Welfare Center, they finally get through. That's the basic description of what happened. They finally went through as soon as the mayor told the chief of the welfare service to listen to Himizawa's demands. As soon as they finally start listening to Keiichi and the other protesters, the chief of the welfare center told Hariyama to go straight to the Houjou residence. Instead of them calling the residents, they decide to send someone there to check what's going on. And as they're sending Hariyama to the residence, Ooishi comes in and drives him there. Or did he? Honestly, I don't know what happened. Okay, it's to be assumed that Ooishi drove Hariyama to the Houjou residence. I'll talk more about Ooishi very soon. So that night, Keiichi, while waiting for the response from the welfare center, he gets a call from Satoko, who informs him that she got saved and that she now has confidence in herself to stand up for herself. The lesson that she learned from Rika and Higurashi. She learned herself, for which I found that to be a great development for Satoko. Like, she figured it out herself from the phone call from Keiichi, if that's what happened. I think that's what happened. Okay, I think that part was correct. She did, okay, the uncle was taken away. I think that part did happen. The uncle was taken away, and Satoko did stand up for herself against her uncle. I believe that happened. And then we get on to the next day for the Watanagashi Festival. And I'm gonna say this now. I freaking loved Satoko's outfit choice. The way that Satoko dressed up, that was pretty cool. How they had her dress up differently. Though that might be a foreshadow to a certain conspiracy that's going on about Satoko, but I won't acknowledge it. For which, during the festival, there was a lot of interesting developments between Satoko and Keiichi, leading to Satoko asking Keiichi to be her Nini, for which I thought that was a cute scene. I'm sorry, but any scene with Satoko in this scene, to a certain point, was adorable. Like, I just wish, like, Satoko was having a good time. Satoko was really having a good time. Up until she brought him to the Houjou residence. The scene that happens in the Houjou residence where, it turns out, Teppei wasn't arrested and he returned to the residence and he ambushed Keiichi from the behind. I thought that was actually a really good scene, where Teppei didn't get arrested, and we finally get to see Teppei's reaction to Keiichi foiling his evil plans. And then Keiichi picks up a bat himself and bashes Teppei's head in. And, I'm gonna be honest here, I love seeing Keiichi beat the shit out of Teppei. But due to the head injury, Keiichi falls over and passes out. And before anything else, let me go ahead and state my own opinion of what happened there. So, yes, Satoko did bring him to the residence. And yes, Teppei did attack him. But I do not think Satoko knew that Teppei was not in jail. I think she was innocently trying to actually show him something. But Teppei wasn't arrested. And he came back and he attacked Keiichi as soon as he arrived at the house. It wasn't a setup. I don't think Satoko set him up. I think it was just a horrible, horrible tragedy that occurred, which led to Satoko being absolutely surprised when Teppei arrived. Because, okay, let's be honest here. Satoko was legitimately shocked that Teppei was there. I don't think she set Keiichi up. She was actually surprised. So, Satoko did not lead Keiichi into a trap because she actually thought Teppei was gone. And now let's talk about what happened afterwards when Keiichi wakes up that autumn. You know, I would have been just fine with the episode ending with all the Teppei stuff. I would have been just fine with that. But then they go ahead and pull the ultimate what just happened? The ending scene. Right when I thought we might get a hint as to why Rika's in another time loop, or the other person in the time loop. Instead, we get Rina informing Keiichi that at the festival, when he was off at the Houjou residence, Ooishi comes in with a gun and shoots Mion, Shion, Rika, and Satoko. I think Satoko returned to the festival to inform what happened in their residence, where Keiichi was attacked. She was probably trying to get help at the festival, but Ooishi comes in and shoots them all. I guess this is a great source of deceiving because I didn't expect that, but, Also, does that imply that Ooishi had Himizawa syndrome? Or that he's somewhat of a culprit? That doesn't make sense. Like, okay, for Ooishi to get Himizawa syndrome, yes, he does spend a lot of time in Himizawa, and yes, he did act kinda suspicious all throughout this arc, but, That still felt a little bit out of left field, like he was pretty suspicious all throughout this arc, but him actually getting Himizawa syndrome and doing a shooting in the festival, that's so out of left field. I honestly thought in the scene where Kumagai was talking to Keiichi in the hospital, I thought that was leading to Great Himizawa Disasters references. No, it was a festival shooting committed by Ooishi, because he may or may not had Himizawa syndrome. Cat deceiving? We're still on the deceiving, huh? So, would Nekodamashi be our Akasaka arc? Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to maybe an Akasaka arc this time around. A new Akasaka route. Because let's be honest here, the 2 episodes he got in the original anime for his, for Himasabushi, those are crap. So maybe Nekodamashi would be a sort of new version of Himasabushi. Though of course, these are still deceiving, and as from this episode, we definitely got deceived. Since this is the last episode of this first half, I might as well just give my honest opinions about GOU so far. It definitely feels like a spin-off. Like, okay, I'm not saying that it's absolutely bad. Like, this is actually decent for a side story that's not in the canon. Like, I can't bring myself to say that maybe this is canon in some world line of Rika's, but not in the main world line of the original series. And also, they really had dumbed down Rena. Yeah, I do agree with some of you down in the comments stating that they had dumbed down Rena. They really dumbed down Rena in these episodes. Like, Rena was a lot more clever. In every other adaptation of Higurashi, well, there's varying degrees of how clever the adaptations have made Rena, but in this adaptation, she's the least clever and mostly more of a caricature of herself. And also in GOU, there's one other character they definitely toned down. Keiichi. This is the most boring I have seen Keiichi. So overall, the first 13 episodes of GOU, I give it about a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Close to a 6. But I'm keeping it at a 7 because there were a few good scenes that I really liked.
Okay.